Hello and welcome to another edition of Backyard Golf Lessons. My name is Jess Frank and I'm a PGA teaching professional here in South Florida at Deer Creek Golf Club and still on lockdown. So I wanted to bring you another episode of Backyard Golf Lessons, and I know there's a lot of people who struggle with this illness of slicing the ball. So that is something that I address on a daily basis. And what a lot of people don't understand about slicing, a lot of it has to do with the club face and how the club face works, and a lot has to do with your structure and your wrist. And so basically what I've done is I have a cell phone here. This is going to be a very easy drill for anybody to do. Okay, so if you just have a cell phone, I'm going to put this in the beginning. I'm going to put the cell phone in my right hand, okay, which is my trail hand in the my trail hand in the golf swing. So my right hand is my trail hand. I'm a right-handed golfer. So most people, when they swing a golf club, is that when you swing the club, okay, and you turn back, most people have the cell phone with the screen facing their body, okay? So if you want to slice, this is a great thing. So this is, if you have the cell phone, if you just pick up your hand and you have your hand, your palm facing your body, that's going to open the club face. What it does is it keeps the club face very open, okay? And this is something that is going to cause you to slice, because usually you're going to cut across the ball with this. So if I'm going to do this, I'm going to switch the direction of my cell phone. So when I hold this up, I want to point the screen of the cell phone away from me. Okay, so this is super important. So if I just take this cell phone and I hold it straight up and down, like let's say this is my setup here. I'm holding this. This is the golf club. Let's say here, if I'm holding the club like this here. Okay. So as I swing back, I want to turn the screen away from me. This is with my trail hand now. This is with my right hand. We'll go with the lead hand in a second. But I think this is super important for you to understand, is that you have the cell phone pointed away from you, okay? And now as you swing through, you're gonna keep that cell phone screen pointed away from you, okay? And as you get to in front of you, that cell phone screen is pointed away from you. The majority of people that I teach have the screen pointed to them throughout this swing, okay? And what that does is that opens the club face. So when you have so you can see here, so if I put the golf club in my hand now and I swing it away from me, you can see how I have that cell phone pointed away from me. So I've got that screen pointed away from me. And as I swing through, it's pointed away from me. And what it does is that you can see is it does a couple things. As I swing the club back and my palm is pointed away from me, so I'm gonna put the cell phone back in my hand and that screen is pointed away from me. What it does is it helps close the club face, okay? So closing the club face will help you, okay? So I have the club face pointed away from me here. So you can see is that the cell phone or the screen would be pointed away from me, okay? So that's with my trail hand, so it's pointed away from me. And then as I swing back through, it's pointed away from me, pointed away from me, pointed away from me. And you can see is that I have the palm is pointed away from your screen, how you're looking at me. So most people have it the other way. They have it where you're going with the palm towards their body. So this is super important. Again, simple drill, grab your cell phone, take it, point the cell phone screen away from you, okay, and keep it away from you. And that's gonna help close the club face. What it also does is it helps with your wrist conditions and the way your wrist is bent back in the golf swing. Okay, so most people have basically what it is they flex their wrists forward too much, and that cuts across the ball, and that gets you to slice across the ball with an open face. So it's like that butter knife motion, which we don't like. So if I take the cell phone, swing it back, point the screen away from me. This is again in my trail hand. I'm gonna keep that screen away from me, okay? So that's super important. That's with the trail hand, okay? And what that does, again, so many good things. As I swing back, okay, you're gonna see how the club face is closed at the top. That kind of looks like a little Dustin Johnson in there, which most people could use a little Dustin Johnson in their golf swing, or Zach Johnson, anybody who's got a real closed club face at the top. Because most people who have the club face, so you can see the difference. So you can see my club face there in the screen, okay? But over here, you can't see the club face. So what happens is that when that club face is turned where you can't see it at the top of your swing, all that's doing is opening the face or laying the toe back here, so you can see how that toe is leaned back, and that's making you slice across the ball. So this is super important for people who slice the ball. So I guarantee you what will happen is that if you use this in the trail hand and you use the cell phone and you point the cell phone away from you, okay? You point that cell phone away from you like that. So you can see the screen is away from you, okay? And you keep the screen away from you as you swing back through. If you slice the ball, you're probably gonna hit a hard hook or a hard pull, okay? And that's number one. We wanna fix the face first. So this is all has to do with the face. Then we can start to work on a little bit of path, a little bit of swinging the club in the right direction. But if you're someone who slices, most likely you have your wrist and your cell phone pointed towards your body the whole way around. This is with my trail hand, okay? So this is super important to adjust for the club face. All right, so now as I swing back, this is a very closed club face. Something that I know can help a lot of slicers out there. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go now with my lead arm, okay, my trail arm, or my lead arm, my left arm for me, is as I swing this back, okay, I want this screen, now this is gonna be a little bit confusing because I just did trail arm, lead arm, so remember this is your left arm now for a right-handed golfer, this is your left arm. So so you can do it both ways, you can, whatever feels better for you. To me, I feel like my right arm, I can control a lot better. But some people like their lead arm, their left arm, so it's different. So I'm gonna give you for your lead arm, if you're a right-handed golfer, this is for your left hand, okay, or left arm. So as I swing this back and I bring my left arm across my chest or across my shoulders, I'm gonna make sure that that cell phone now is looking towards me, okay? So you can see now, as I do this, is that my left wrist now is flat or bowed, okay? That's gonna close the club face. And so what I do is I take this back. So you can see now is that that club face is closed, looking towards the target. So some people like their right hand, some people like their left hand, so I'm giving you both so you can choose on what you like. So now as I do this, as I swing, okay, and you can see now, you can't see the screen. Now this is in my left hand, so this is for a slicer who has an open club face. So most slicers, when they swing back, they turn their lead hand away from them. So the screen is facing away from them. So what this does is this cups their left wrist. So their left wrist is very cupped at the top. So there's a big bend in here. Okay, this is something that is cut. So then normally people will pull down, they'll pull down, that face will be open and they'll slice across the ball. Okay, so then you're wondering why you're losing all this power and you're slicing it and you're not hitting the ball as far. So this is something that is super important and I think is a great way to feel that. So this is my left hand. So I'm gonna turn that cell phone face right towards me and I'm gonna keep it looking towards me all the way through to the other side. So if I do it this way, it looks towards me and you can see now the bowing of this left wrist. Okay, the bowing of the left wrist, and that helps close the face. So the bowing of the left wrist keeps the face looking as it's closed, okay? So it's closed to the arc. So it's very close to the arc. So these are two ways with both your left hand and your right hand how you can stop slicing. And it's something that's very simple. As we're all sitting on the couch waiting to get back on the golf course, grab your cell phone and, you know, for my trail hand now, remember this is my trail, my right hand, the cell phone looks away from me and I keep it away from me. That keeps my right wrist very bent. So if I actually put my left hand on that cell phone, you can see how flexed my left wrist is. And I mean, that's great for most people. I would say 85% of the golfing public has their wrist the other way. They have their wrist cupped too much, especially so they have their right wrist flat and their left wrist cupped. So this is super important. So I would say that as I swing the club now, okay, and you're gonna see this, so now my left wrist is flat, which is my lead wrist, and my right wrist is cupped. Okay, and then the club face is going to be closed to the arc. Okay, so you can see that it's not the other way, where the face is now open to the arc, and that's where that weak slice comes from. So if I look this way, you can see how that toe is leaned back. Okay, so this drill is specifically for slicers. If you hook the ball, don't do this. But if you slice the ball, yes, absolutely, and most people slice. So if I come here, so you can see that face is wide open, okay? And so I would say that would be super important. So grab your cell phone, follow this little drill or this little feel, and I know it can help your game. So my name's Jess Frank. I'm a PGA teaching professional down here in Deerfield Beach, Florida. And, you know, Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Miami-Dade are still closed, the golf courses. Haven't heard anything quite yet, but we're thinking hopefully within a week, maybe. So we'll see when we can get out there. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. And I would love to help your game. I'm passionate about helping people play better golf. I love it. I love what I do. My dad always said, you know, do what you love and you never work a day in your life. So that's kind of how I feel. And I love helping golfers play better golf. So again, grab your cell phone. So real quick through here, remember the club face is huge. Club face is number one, okay? So let's get your club face in the right position. So this is, again, this is the cell phone drill, very easy to use. If you're slicing the ball, okay, so this is my trail hand here. Most people's trail hand is facing their body. So what that does is that opens the face. So let's point the screen of the cell phone away from you with your trail arm the whole way. Okay, this keeps the face closed. If you are a right-handed golfer and you prefer to use your left arm and your left wrist, you feel like you have more control, let's turn the face towards you. Okay, this keeps the club face closed. So you can see this little motion here. So this keeps the face closed. So this is something that I know helps a lot of golfers. I see it, you know, when I was teaching. You know, it's the club face. Once that club face gets to the top, most people have that face so wide open that they really don't have a chance. And then everybody was talking about, well, you know, I flip at the bottom. You know, I'm flipping at the bottom to try to close that club face. So most people at impact are looking like this. You know, their hands are back and their club face is open and they're losing distance. So thank you, Randy, appreciate that. You know, so this is something that's going to put you in a much more powerful position to hit the ball solid. So again, you know, use this cell phone, and I know it can help your game. So again, my name's Jess Frank. I'm a PGA teaching professional down here in South Florida. I would also love for you to go over to my YouTube channel, and I would love for you to go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my Jess Frank Golf Academy YouTube channel. What I'll do is I'll put it in the comments section below. Just click on it, click subscribe. I'm moving all of my live streams from Facebook and Instagram over to my YouTube channel, so that way you can go back and watch it if you miss it. I've done some pretty cool interviews with local golfers and golf professionals, just trying to bring you guys as much content and good golf content as possible. I've done a bunch of interviews. I'm really excited. I've got a special surprise coming up. This is one of my alts. This is my, you know, my first real mentor in the game, and somebody who's gonna bring a ton of value to you. So this is gonna be a huge interview. I hope to set it up this upcoming week. So I'm really excited about that. So make sure you I'll be posting on my on both my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter about that upcoming interview. So I'm hoping to set that up for this week. I'm just gonna keep everybody on the edge of their seats. So I'm very excited about that. So if you really want to get better at your game, head over to my Jess Frank Golf Academy YouTube channel as well. Free golf tips, a lot of information, basically on everything about the golf game. So that's super, that's super cool as well. So keep using the cell phone. Remember, if you're a right-handed golfer, take your right hand, grab your cell phone, point your cell phone away from you. That's going to close the face. If you like it in the right hand, or I'm sorry, if you like it in your left hand and you're a right-handed golfer, this is your lead arm. Turn the cell phone towards you, and this is going to help you adjust your club face and make you a really good golfer. You're going to hit the ball more solid, higher, farther, and play better golf and shoot lower scores, and that's what we're all about. So I'm going to do this one. There looks like a few people have just jumped on. We're talking about the club face and how when you have the club face open, so that's what most people look like in their backswing, okay? So at the top of their swings, that's what most people look like. We want to look like that. We want to have that, so you can see the toe of the club is inside the shaft. Most people have the toe of the club on the outside part of their shaft. So it's over here. So this is what I see. I see this a lot here. I see a lot of golfers at the top of their swings with that toe of the club on the outside part of their shaft. And what you want to do is you want to have it the other way. So you want that club face to be looking more in that direction right there. So if you have your club face looking more in that direction, that's going to give you a really good chance of hitting the ball straighter, farther, more solid, more in the center of the club face. So it's super important that you do that. And how do you do that? And this is the drill that I say, take your cell phone out. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is my trail hand again, my right hand. So as I swing this back, okay, I'm going to point the screen away from me. I want to point that screen away from me. Now as I swing back through, what that does is that gives me a lot of good things here. My right arm, 90 degrees, my right wrist, 90 degrees, and bent back instead of being like that, so it's bent back. So as I swing back through, I'm keeping that cell phone pointed away from me, that screen pointed away from me, and this is with my trail arm. Okay, so this is very important. So now I still have this little bent back part of my wrist, okay, which most people look like that. So most people swing the club and they let the club go because they're trying to close the club face or add speed or whatever they're trying to do. Most likely it's from an open club face, so this is going to help you solve that immediately. So if I want to do it in my lead arm, I'm going to take my lead arm and I'm going to turn that towards me. So now I got my left wrist bowed, okay, so as I swing back through, that left wrist is bowed. So as I come back through, I would say, Lee Trevino, Ben Hogan, these guys that just were unbelievable ball strikers, they're all looking like that. Nobody looks like that. So nobody flicks their wrist and has a cupped left wrist at impact, which most amateurs do. Most people have a cupped left wrist, which is a lead wrist at impact. So they open the face and they almost create a butter knife slicing effect with their golf game. So again, I really appreciate you guys watching and tuning in to my live streams. Hope these are helping you and pass the time while we're shut down here. And like I said, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'm also really excited about an upcoming interview that I'm going to be doing with a golf professional, a legendary golf professional. So I'm really excited about that upcoming. I also just loaded my online lesson program onto my website, so you can check that out at justfrankgolf.com. If you want to work on your game and you need some help with that, I can do a voiceover and things like that. So I appreciate you watching again. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Take care.